Hey guys, today I'm going to be making a Bulgogi hamburger. It's not thin sliced beef, but it's going to be a hamburger patty. In fact, I'm using 90-10 ground sirloin, and it's going to be seasoned Bulgogi style with the Bulgogi sauce and all that good stuff. So if you're a fan of Korean food, especially Korean barbecue, stick around because we've got a burger for you. First thing we're going to need for our Bulgogi is we're going to need to make some sauce. Here I have half a cup of soy sauce, just plain old soy sauce. Don't get excited and all this other stuff of what kind and all that. I'm using Kikkoman, just a generic soy sauce. And here I have 3 tablespoons of raw sugar. Now typically Bulgogi would have a little honey or something in it, but I'm just using raw sugar. So if you want to put some honey, just use 2 tablespoons of raw sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, or adjust the ratio to your liking. I have 1 teaspoon of roasted, toasted sesame seeds that have been kind of bruised up a little bit. I have 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. Then I have half a tablespoon of sesame oil. Half a teaspoon of garlic. Now we're not quite done yet. To this I want to grate in some onion. The recipe's calling for 1/4 of a small onion. I'd say this is pretty small. So I want to grate in about half or 1/4 of this using the microplane grater. Now I need about half of an apple. And here I'm using a Honeycrisp apple. First thing I want to do, I need to peel it. Now we're going to grate our apple. After everything's in here, we're going to give it a good mix. Now I want to taste this. You need to taste it. Stick your finger in there. Got a nice balance. A little bit sweet, a little bit salty. Definitely just a little bit of that sesame flavor there, but it's not overpowering. I'm liking this sauce. This is going to work. Okay, so I have 1 pound of ground sirloin. This is 90-10. For this recipe, it does not have to have a lot of fat in it or anything like that. It's going to be nice thin patties, and they're going to be cooked a little bit crispy on the outside. First thing I have here is I have 2 tablespoons of soju. And alcohol like this kind of helps remove the smell from meat. If you don't want to use alcohol, just leave it out. Now for those of you who are curious about what is soju, or what kind am I using? This is soju. It's a Korean alcohol. It's made from sweet potatoes. And this is the one I'm using right here. I happen to like this one. It's pretty smooth. Some of the older sojus had quite the alcohol burn to them. Anyway, I like this. Then I need to put in some green onion. I want to put in about 2 tablespoons of green onion. That looks good to me. I'm just going to eyeball that. Now we're going to put about half of our sauce in here. And I want to make sure I get plenty of the stuff off the bottom, the garlic, the apple, the onion. And we're going to put about half of our sauce in here. The other half we're going to use to make a glaze. That looks pretty good. Set that to the side. The glove, so people don't freak out. Food police. If you I learned from Larry over at the Wolf Pit that if you touch raw meat, you'll die. I didn't know that, but apparently it's true. Anyway, I'm gonna take this meat and we're gonna make sure we get this sauce mixed in there with it. And then we're gonna put this in the refrigerator and we're gonna let it marinate for at least an hour. I do like to let this go 2-3 hours, but sometimes I can't stand it and I just gotta cook my burgers a lot quicker than that. Okay, so let's make our coleslaw. First thing I wanna do is I wanna grate an apple. This is a Honeycrisp apple. You can use any kind you like, but I like these because they're nice and sweet. They got a little crunch to them. And I'm going to grate its skin and everything. Although I'm not going to do the seeds and the core, but the skin and the flesh, definitely going in there. To keep our apple from turning brown, we want to squeeze on about half a tablespoon of lemon juice. Just got a strainer here to catch some seeds if any come out. Got one right there. And then we'll just mix this up and we'll set it aside. For our cabbage, we're going to cut it into quarters. Cut out the core. That's pretty tough. So for our cucumber, got a little prep for doing it. Cut the ends off. I've already cut that one off. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to quarter these halves. These are just so they're easier to handle. And what we're going to do, we're going to cut these seeds out, because that'll cause too much moisture in our coleslaw. Okay, so I weighed the cabbage just for reference. I had 747 grams of cabbage. Anyway, we're going to grate it. So we have our cabbage all grated up, nice and fine. Time for cucumber. Now we're going to grate 2 carrots. So we have our cabbage, cucumber, carrot. We're going to put our apple in here. We're going to put 1 cup of mayonnaise. I'm going to put some, I've got half a teaspoon of hot mustard. That's this stuff right here. Half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. Move that out of the way. We're going to give this a good mix. Okay, so I'm going to make some crispy sweet potato fries. And for crispy sweet potato fries, I need some sweet potatoes. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these things. And I'll take off any ugly spots, like that. Anyway, I'll come back with a knife and I'll take care of that. Let's get rid of this peel. Okay, so now we're going to cut up our sweet potato. Now, these things are kind of tough to deal with, so be careful. Now I have a flat edge. I'm shooting for pieces basically about like that. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so our meat's been marinating for a couple hours. Just plastic off of here. Now this is basically 1 pound of beef, and I want 1/4 pound patties. I'm going to roughly form this into 4 balls. Good. Okay, I've got a couple things going on here. I've got some water simmering. I've turned my heat up just a little bit. Let me go ahead and jack that up. I'm gonna put a little salt in here. I'm putting about a tablespoon. Most of that salt's gonna wind up in the water and not in the sweet potatoes. Anyway, we're gonna put our sweet potatoes in here. Now we don't want to get too carried away with these. We just want to simmer them, and we're wanting to slowly cook them all the way through until they're just tender. I don't want them soft. I just want them to start getting tender. There we go. All right, now back burner. This is my simmering burner. I'm gonna put the rest of my bulgogi sauce in here. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of pineapple juice, just for a little sweetness. Okay, so these have been going for about 10 minutes now, I think it is. Take the fork, I can push it in. It doesn't fall through, which is basically what I want, because these will continue to cook just a little bit after we take them out. So what I'm gonna do, take these out, put them in a strainer. Okay, so my griddle's hot. I'm gonna put our burger on there. Got my oil heating up for my sweet potato fries. 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of water. Give this a mix. Now we're going to do this in batches. Each batch of sweet potato will get coated on its own. Got our bowl. Take our sweet potato, put it in here. Put our slurry on here. Toss our sweet potatoes. Alright, let's go ahead and just put our sweet potato fries in the oil, nice and carefully. Stir them just to make sure they're not stuck together too bad. We're going to flip our burger. Oh man, that looks good. Might as well drop our bun, let it dry toast. We're going to just toast it dry because I don't want it to be oily. Take a little bit of our sauce that we've reduced down, put that on the burger. As soon as our buns are ready, oh yeah, that one's done. Move you over. So let's flip our burger. A little bit of sauce on this other side. There we go. Turn that off because this burger's ready. That patty on there. Okay, so after about 5 minutes, our sweet potatoes are done. I'm going to put them on our wire rack that we've got ready right here. Now we want to season these. I'm using some Cajun seasoning. You could just use salt, or as some people that I know like to do, you could put sugar on them. Okay, so we've got our burger on our bun. Take some of our coleslaw. Actually, I want to put a bunch of it on here because that's what it's supposed to be. That on there. Let's move this over just a little bit. All right, we're going to put our sweet potato fries on here. That's our burger. So, how's everything taste? Is what we really want to know. Sweet potato fry. Man, these are done. Got a little crust on them. Probably go a little bit more crunchy. Man, that's good. Cajun spice kind of kicking there. But here's what we really want to know. How's this burger? Oh my. Excuse me. The bulgogi is nice and sweet. The meat's tender. You know, it's really good. But then you get the vegetables kind of cleansing everything out. Bam. That's really good.